Hello and welcome back again to High Desert Home and Garden. Today, well, let's start this with yesterday. I did an oil change on my 95 F-250 with the 7.3 engine oil and fuel filter, and kind of went over it, made a list of things that are going to have to be done before we make a cross-country trip in June. And today we're going to start the process of taking care of some of the things that I need to do. The list includes front wheel bearings and seals. I'm just going to replace them. I'm not even going to bother cleaning and inspecting them. Just going to change them out. We're going to change the rear transmission, or the rear transfer case output seal. It would be the same exact seal, but it's on the transfer case instead of the transmission. I'm going to change that out today and change the transmission oil and transfer case oil. And then, anyway, I'm going to have to also do new shocks all the way around, and I'm going to put new tires on it all the way around too before we take off for this journey. And of course, I'm sure there'll be other things that I think of along the way that I'll need to get and I'll need to do, but for now we're going to change the transmission oil and replace the output seal and the torque converter. Alright, so first thing I'm going to do, even though we're replacing this seal over here, so this is not necessary, but I'm due to change my transfer case oil anyway. So first thing I'm going to do is pull my drain plug here, which is just a 3/8 square drive pipe plug. And boy, I put it in there good last time I was here. Stuff actually doesn't look all that bad, which is okay by me because I change it every year anyway. It only holds like a gallon of ATF. They have a Motorcraft transfer case fluid that's pretty much the same thing, but costs like 3 times as much. So I just put ATF in mine. Put that up there so we don't lose it. And then next step of my process, since I'm changing this seal here, is going to be to actually pull the rear drive line out, which on this truck is accomplished with 4 bolts back here at the back. Swing this camera around. Make sure we can see what we're doing here. Now, as I said, there's 4 bolts here, and then 2 on the top. I've seen 12-point bolts. I've seen 12-point headed bolts. I've seen Allen set bolts. These are Torx bits. I don't imagine that those are factory, but that's what they are. If I remember right, they are a T30. Ooh, no, I was wrong. They're bigger than that. T35. So, get my ratchet. Put these out. It's wanting to be a pain in the butt. Of course it's cold, so I got gloves on and can't really do anything, but yeah, here we go. I'm not sure the brake's set. Well, it's being a bit stubborn. So, now a little pry bar. Pop it out of the yoke. And now slide it out without dropping it in your camera. That'd be pretty handy. Okay, so one removed rear drive line. Easy enough. Just a slip yoke on the front end. Now for the seal. Okay, so you can see this is all nasty and wet up here from being make sure I'm in the view. Yeah, that'd be better. Okay, so you can see it's all nasty and wet, and it's just kind of worn out. And, you know, it's probably 20 something years old, I would guess, like the rest of the truck. But couldn't say for sure because I haven't had this thing that long. Anyway, these have a nice little lip around the outside here. So what I'm going to try and do is just get this bar, since it's a nice indexable little bar, hooked in behind it. I think. Oh wait, I'm thinking it wrong. I don't believe that would work. Or would it? Oh, that's it. Okay. So it's got this nice little lip around the outside here. Makes this a lot easier project. And I will encourage you not to sit right underneath of it because it will dump oil on you. Like so. So anyway, there's one removed seal. Easy, nothing to that. Okay, so next thing's next. We've got our new seal down here, but we're going to take a rag and just kind of wipe out this housing a little bit. Wipe out the inside some, wipe out on the outside just so that you don't end up with dirt in between. And then one thing that I always recommend doing anytime a seal starts leaking like this one did, just grab whatever it's sealing, in this case the tail shaft of my transfer case, and see if that shaft is loose, letting it move up, down, side to side. In my case it's not, so we don't need to rebuild the transfer case while we're doing this. That's always a good thing. So, and I'll be damned if that ain't the wrong seal. Well, I guess such is Elko. Or actually, is it the wrong seal? Nope, it's not the wrong seal. I just took it apart wrong. Or is it? Well, anyway, I'm going to have to figure this out. Alright, so this is my old seal, and this is the seal that I picked up in town this morning. There's a visual difference in size. I don't know if it'll show up on camera or not, but I can see it anyway. There's a big difference, probably, I don't know, in the neighborhood of a 32nd of an inch anyway. Way too much to accommodate for. So now it would appear that I get to go back to town, all 18 miles to the parts store, and see if I can get the correct one. I'm hopeful, but I'm not holding my breath. So this project might just have to wait for another day. We'll see. Alright, so we are back 36 miles later and another $7.50, but we do have the correct seal. I don't know what it is with parts people anymore, but they just tend to want to always give you the cheaper option. And it's not that it was actually just the wrong one. There are two different seals for this, one for a fixed yoke and then one for a slip yoke. My truck has a slip yoke. I would guess that a two-wheel drive with a manual transmission would have a fixed yoke. That's typically what you would see. You know, this seal outwardly looks a little different, but it is the same size. So at least we got that little problem taken care of. Alright, so just for good measure, we're going to re-wipe this out. Okay. Oh, now just take your seal, slip it in there, and as you can see, it actually is a tight fit this time. That's good. Now, I don't have a seal installer for this, or even a piece of pipe or anything that would fit over it, so we're just going to tap gently with a hammer. kind of work our way around. And since it doesn't appear to like gentle, we're going to use a little piece of a rod here that I have. And again, just tap it. Watch and make sure that you're going in fairly straight. Try and keep the thing even. The original style seal is a lot nicer to put in just because it has that lip around the outside edge. Makes it so much easier because then you can just tap on that lip and put it in. This one doesn't have that feature. And once you've got it in there, it should bottom out. And so that is that. Pretty easy to do as long as you have the right parts. I don't know really what it is about parts guys in this area, but they always want you to buy the cheapest thing, whether you need the cheapest one or not. That's what they would like to sell you for some reason. Anyway, let me put my plug back in here. Alright, so pretty much all I got left to do is fill the transfer case and put the drive line back in it. All pretty easy stuff. I have this thing here, which is basically a big syringe that you can pull out. You know, you stick this into your desired oil, pull this out, sucks in the oil, and then you can take it and put it into what you're putting the oil into. Works good for differentials, and in my particular case today, transmissions and transfer cases. Well worth having. If I can find a link to one, I'll put it in the description of the video. Anyway, that's all for now. We'll see you guys later.